So, if there is a green signal from Triple IT Lava, then I can go ahead.
Trivedi sir.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. No, it's fine.
Can we know who is the host here? Coordinator or who's moderating it? Who is it?
Professor Aditya Trivedi is moderating it, sir.
Can we just Aditya? I can't see him. Can he turn his video on so we can see him and so we can?
Yeah. I think now I am visible as well as audible.
Okay, so you are audible.
Okay, sir. Let me. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Sunil Yadav, the coordinator of this panel discussion on entry-exit scheme offered specialization curriculum, along with the Dr. Satish Kumar Singh, is also the coordinator of this panel, and Professor Aditya Trivedi is the moderator of this panel. So, welcome to this panel discussion on this this particular session. So, let me briefly discuss about the entry-exit scheme which we have prepared. So, initially we propose a 8-year program in EC and IT department. There is a various exit and entry level at this particular program. So if the first entry level will be just after the completion of the intermediate, and after the completion of the first year, the student will be awarded with a certification in EC and IT. But if he wants to continue this particular program for all the 8 years, so at the end of the 8 years, he will be awarded as a PhD in EC and IT. But at each exit level, let's say after 2 years or 3 years, so accordingly, the student will be awarded with a diploma in EC and IT and the advanced diploma in the EC and IT respectively. Similarly, after the completion of 4th year, the student will be awarded with a Bachelor of Degree program in EC and IT. And if he wants to continue for the research towards the research side, so he will the student will be awarded as a PG diploma after the completion of 5th year, and then 6th year there will be a Master of Degree in EC and IT. After the completion of this 7th year, the student will receive a Master of Degree with a research certificate. And accordingly, at the final, in the final year of the 8th year, the student will receive the degree in, basically the PhD degree in EC and IT. So these are the different exit point of this scheme. At the same time, there are several, entry levels, which are the lateral entry points just after the completion of first year. That is the 2nd year, 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year, and the 6th year. But we did not keep the 7th year and the 8th year as a lateral entry points, because we want the students should at least devote 3 years in a particular institute in order to get the highest degree of the PhD. So at the same point, there is one table is reflected in this particular PPT. So there is some credit points are mentioned. The credit points are mentioned according to theory and the practice sessions, as well as some technical credits. So as per the new NEP structure, so this flexible academic program also offers various non-technical baskets program, like community services, some educational courses, some sports courses, some different domains courses like fine arts, some music, and some etc. etc. So we also keep this, and we also design this in a minimum of minimum 5 credits should be earned by the student in a respective year as a non-technical courses. So, and at the same time, if the student basically enter as a lateral entry point, so he has the students may be asked for the additional credit to complete the particular degree. Okay. At the same time, because if you can see here, there is a research credit points which can be basically earned by the various participation in the conference or by publishing the journal papers, patents, and the copyright issue, various things. So this can be earned by the different schemes. So now I'll quickly present the curriculum of the EC department, which we have prepared. So you can see the EC curriculum. Basically, there is in the first year there is a 40 credit which is divided into 2 different semesters, and each semester we have also put 2 baskets, two subjects related to the non-technical subject, as well as the one is specifically for the sports, arts, and the language, and the different community service subjects. So similarly, in the second semester we have also put these 2 subjects of different credits, like 2 and 1. And these subjects will be chosen from the non-technical basket, which will be prepared by the different experts in the different areas experts basically. Now the motive of this, under this particular FAP, the motive is basically at the end of each year, there should be some outcome which student will take care, have the skill set, some sort of skill set after the completion of each year. So, for example, in the first year, if a student wants to exit, so there will be some skill set like the PCB designing, some professional letter writing, and so that he can, the student can go into the market and will be compatible with the some job and other things. Similarly, the second year will be also comprising the same set of some non-technical baskets as well as some technical baskets. So this is the second year. The student should complete the 80 credits. Similarly, in the third year, the student should complete the 120 credits. If you see this after completion of fifth semester, which is basically the regular semester, but from the sixth semester onward, there is some specialization type of semester basically. So the student can choose a module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4 according to their own interest, as well as we can also float a new module if any PI wants. So, for example, the student wants to deal with the wireless communication system. So, in the sixth semester only, he can choose this module, and there will be some 4 or 5 subjects which will be basically dedicatedly towards the wireless communication. Similarly, for the data sciences, similarly for the embedded system and the RF and microwave. So, in this way, we'll start a new concept in this FAP program. Similarly, in the fourth year, the seventh semester, again, the students can choose another, specific module like VLSI design, cyber physical, and some recent wireless technology or photonics. These can be changed. This is just a proposed idea. And in the eighth semester, it is specifically for the non-baskets as well as the major thesis. Now we we again propose one concept. After the completion of the fourth year, if the student wants to go in the specific domain of research, let's say if the student chooses the wireless communication on RF or any specific domain, so he should be, the student should go in the MS by research, or if the student wants, did not choose any type of a specialization, so the students will go into the regular MTech program. So the MTech program, which is left to this this presentation basically. So this will go again basically aligned with the regular MTech program, but in the MS by research, it will be only decided by the faculty member or the faculty supervisor. So the faculty supervisor will decide the different subjects according to the different specialization in the different domains. So accordingly, the whole fifth semester will go in this way. Fifth year, sorry. Similarly, the sixth year will also be according to the MTech by research program or maybe the regular MTech. But there will be some specific research credit which the student will earn by publishing some conferences or maybe journals or maybe some patent, etc. Then again, the sixth year, after completion of the sixth year, if the student wants to pursue the highest degree of PhD, so the seventh and eighth year will be only the research specific study. So the sixth, seventh year and the eighth year will be totally towards the totally dedicated towards the PhD degree. So the seventh year, there will be some research progress colloquium, some research problem specific courses which the student needs to complete it from the NPTEL or the MOOC or some other online mode. And then some teaching cum research assistantship should also be included. Similarly, and in the final year, there will be the final year of this particular FAP program. So the research progress colloquium and the PhD open seminar will be conducted. And then after the successful completion of the PhD defense, the student will be awarded the PhD degree. In the similar way, we have also prepared the document on the same line. We have also prepared the document for the IT department, which is basically prepared by the Dr. Satish Kumar Singh sir. So he has also prepared the document for IT department in the different specializations courses like machine learning, data structures, and some mathematical subjects like linear algebra. Okay, they have also introduced some different concept like IT workshop in the front-end development, so the student will be able to do some sort of basic hand-ons in the area of IT, so that he can easily go and find the job in the market after the completion of the first year or the second year. So the same pattern we have already followed in this particular course. Now, similarly, if you come to the non-technical baskets, so there is one document which we have prepared. So this document comprises of several non-technical baskets related to the finance, geography, history, civics, all the fields where the student wants to pursue or want to take any of the subject, as well as the specific subjects of some sports related subjects like some yoga courses, cricket courses, some swimming courses, etc., etc. So however, this is the just a basic prototype of this particular non-technical basket. However, this can be extended with the in collaboration with other universities which are basically having the non-technical courses. So this is a very brief introduction of this entry exit program. Now the floor is open for the discussion. So we'll collect all the discussions which will be shared by the panel members and we'll incorporate in the final document. So now I hand over this session to our moderator, Professor Aditya Trivedi sir. So now from here, Professor sir will be taking care of this session.
Okay.
Trivedi sir, you please.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil, and very good afternoon to all the panel members. As we know, this panel 1 is basically meant for this introduction of entry-exit norms, offered specialization and curriculum. So here basically there are 11 panel members are there, and 8 have joined online and 3 offline members are there. So first we will go through the online members, and I expect that each and every member will take around 8 to 10 minutes of time so that we can finish the session in time. So first I request Professor Rajat Muna to share his thoughts on this particular topic. So Professor Rajat Muna.
Can you also share the order in which you will be calling the speakers so it becomes clear?
Yeah, I think this order is already shared earlier.
Okay, okay.
So just go through it, sir. And
Okay.
Professor Rajat Muna is the first, I think.
All right.
Second is Professor Pankaj Mittal. Third is Professor Lalit Avasthi. Like that. It's already shared, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Aditya. I'm happy to be here and looking at the flexible program, flexible academic program for IIIT. There are few points. I mean, first of all, let me say that it's a very well articulated topic. But I have few points that I want to actually, before we get into the curriculum of it, I want to actually look at certain other things. First is, I mean, are we clear about the objectives? That is number one, because I have not seen the objectives very clearly articulated. Why and what is the reason why we want? For example, lateral entries have been proposed after class 12, after minimum certification, but then the certification probably doesn't happen. Then after that, there is a diploma or equivalent. Then there is an advanced diploma or equivalent. Then there is a BTech or equivalent. So essentially what is being done is that entire academic curriculum of BTech, MTech, PhD is created a pipeline where there is a lateral entry that is possible. And that's a very interesting point. However, the modality, the method on how do you admit students, for example, after class 12, it is through JEE, and there is no problem on that through JEE main. But how do you do evaluation of people who actually come in the third semester, entry into the third semester? What is their preparation, minimum preparation that is required? And how do you judge that they actually are there at that level or not? Similarly, how do you do it for the people who are actually coming after 2 years, that is entry into the third year? How do you actually, what is the minimum requirement? What is the minimum exposure that is needed? And how do you handle the admissions? And same thing goes on. In my opinion, entry into the third year is probably not a meaningful entry because it's too close to the exit of BTech final year, I mean BTech program. So third year entry is probably getting a little too, little too advanced into this thing. You probably would not even know the students well enough and their capabilities. The exit side, yes, I mean, I see a lot of exits, and essentially at every year there's an exit. But again, the question is, do we really need these many exits? What is the purpose? What is the max? when a person goes out, let's say with the advanced diploma in a particular program, what is his employability? Where can he actually be, which all places can he go for higher education? And what is the minimum preparedness that is actually available to him, especially considering that a student may actually join at the end of first year and may exit out at the end of second year. Then do we still be able to handle this situation? So these are the things that we need to actually work out. To me, it appears when we are actually getting into the flexibility, then having these rigid structures of years should actually not be there. It should be, program should be made completely credit based, in which case students may come at any point in time, provided they have certain credits. You can specify the minimum requirement, and probably one entry into the BTech program in between is good enough. One entry at the beginning, one entry at the in between, and then there is an exit, which is a formal exit of BTech program. However, some people might want to continue into the master's program, and few more students might actually join into the entry of master's program. And then probably, yes, I'm fine with postgraduate diploma after 1 year, and then the master's program, MTech program, and then it continues for PhD. Essentially, outgoing students will actually get at least 2 degree certificates, BTech, MTech, and PhD, of course. But in between, they probably are going to get diplomas. They probably are going to get only certificate program. So once somebody crosses 4 years, at least it is guaranteed that he will get the BTech degree. Okay, or at once 4 years of this program that is proposed. However, I would still say that if we look at the credit system and say if somebody has crossed these many credits, and then in credits we can specify the mandatory courses of department, mandatory courses of the institute, non-department, optional electives, departmental, optional electives which are open electives, then the humanity courses, other social courses, social activities, and you can just work out on that. And then once somebody qualifies the minimum requirement for an exit, he is now eligible for that exit. What happens in this particular structure, rigid structure, is, for example, if somebody, because of whatever reason, because he was not well, he took a semester drop, or because he got a fail grade in one of the courses, adjusting them becomes lot much more difficult unless you are asking him to repeat the entire year by itself, and that will probably be too taxing for the student. So this is my input right now. I will probably come back on this after hearing with others. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Professor Rajat Muna. I think your points are well taken. This about the entry concern, particularly in the later stages, and exit should be credit based, not year wise. We'll discuss on these issues further later on. So now I invite Dr. Pankaj Mittal to share her views. Dr. Pankaj Mittal, are you there? Dr. Pankaj Mittal? I think she was there earlier.
Sir, we'll take later on.
Okay, okay. In that case, now I invite Professor Lalit Avasthi.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Aditya Trivedi. I'm audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Sir, you are not audible.
Professor Avasthi, I think you have muted yourself. Please unmute.
Sir, please unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Sorry for that. So I start again. I thank the organizer for giving me opportunity to be here. It's a very good discussion and the initial talk, and I do agree with what Professor Rajat Mona has said. We have done some work in earlier. I was in NIT Jalandhar and here in NIT Hamirpur also. We have allowed exit and entry, and to that certain extent, the things are quite similar as has been discussed earlier. Also, we have kept minimum number of credits to be earned for a exit. And we are proposing a similar structure in the curriculum also, that the student can take the courses. In first year, we have some branch specific courses so that that certificate course can be useful. So that is there. Second is that how about the acceptability after certification and after getting a diploma, post diploma? What we have done is for an exercise, the three NITs, NIT Sikkim, NIT Jalandhar, NIT Hamirpur, we have uh, informal MOU kind of thing that we can allow the student from one NIT to exit and enter in another NIT if the seats are available, if he has the minimum credits. So that kind of thing is there, in which we allow the entry exit even after first year, second year and third year also, because the requisite number of credits have been earned by the student in the respective NIT, and because they are coming from the same kind of entry, then we are allowing them to enter in our institute also. The flexibility which has been again created at MTech and even at the research program level also, we have there were stray cases, one or two cases where the students have opted for and we have started with giving them diploma, advanced diploma. Now, as far as their employability is concerned, definitely this is a new, totally new scheme where now the students are exiting maybe after 1 year, 2 year. For first year, the certification we have kept around 30 to 40% of the credits they should earn. And for having a post diploma, diploma after 2 years or 3 years, then the student must earn 60 to 70% credit. So these employability definitely, because it will be only checked when the students are out and they opt for some kind of employability. And the other inputs which we have tried to do at our institute is that we are trying to unify with the scheme and credits with the IITs, NITs, triple ITs, so that the students can have, because at Hamirpur we are having roughly 180 plus credits for VTech, whereas usually in IITs we see 125 to 30, 130 credits are there. So we are in process of modifying and putting the inputs from various streams, including arts, science, law. These courses are also being put in the scheme. So this is what the experiment we are doing at NIT Hamirpur. And few of these students have taken exit. Their employability or their re-entry is yet to be, because they are going to just be there in the market soon. So that is what I think if we need to totally implement it, then there need to be a consortium of institutions. There should be, they should be able to accept the input and output of the students from the other institution. That kind of consortium can be made, like NIT Hamirpur. We can always look for any student who exit from any NIT, IIT, or maybe triple IT. They can enter the institute, provided we have sufficient number of seats available, or there is a provision made for such seat, maybe 10-20% extra seats for such student to enter or exit. So I think that's all from my side at this stage. Later on, I'll join. Any queries or questions, please?
Anybody is having any questions? Thanks,
We'll
Professor
take the questions
Lalit.
later on. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Professor Lalit. Actually, this the findings of this particular conference would be given to Ministry of Education, And maybe the things will start in a pilot project kind of thing. Later on, if it is acceptable to all, the things would spread automatically. Thanks for your valuable thoughts. Now I invite Professor Pankaj Jalote. So please come and share your views. Professor Pankaj Jalote. I think I can see him, but online. Professor Pankaj Jalote, are you there?
प्रोग्राम हो रहा है ना सर, तब वो शेड्यूल एंड क्लोज नहीं हो
Please
पाएगा।
unmute Professor Pankaj Jalote ji.
सर वो तो उन्होंने करके वो भी केमिस्ट्री डिपार्टमेंट के साथ।
Jalote sir, please unmute yourself.
तो सर एक बार मैं प्रिंट लेट आया था।
Dr. Sunil, if you are having his phone number, contact number, just call him. Otherwise, we will skip to
Okay,
next
sir.
section.
Okay. Okay. Sir, I think he is busy. So can we take the next panelist?
Yes. In that case, I would like to invite Professor Arvind Chaube, Director IIIT Bhagalpur. Professor Arvind Chaube, are you there, sir?
Next ले लेते हैं because he is not also not available.
Yeah. In that case, next is Professor Kanchan Chaudhary from IIT Kharagpur. Professor Kanchan Chaudhary, I can see her online. I can see him online.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, sir. Please.
Yes. Kanchan is a male name in Bengal.
Yes. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, nothing to be sorry. There are many confusing names in a vast country like India.
So now I invite you to, sir, please share your thoughts on this.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Actually, I consider this exercise that is being held under the stewardship of IIIT Allahabad is not only important for IIIT Allahabad, but it is important for the whole country and the future of the exit entry norms that the NEP 2020 has envisaged. And success or failure of this experiment is important for the whole nation. So that is the reason that I am actually joined Niteshji right from the beginning. This exercise that first of all that what is intriguing to me is that the anything that we take up, first the problem has to be discussed. That what is the problem that has told us. One thing is that NEP 2020 has told us to do it. That's fine. But NEP 2020 has told us because they have found that there is a large number of dropouts in the engineering colleges across the country. And that is the reason that they have told us that please try to do something about the exit and entry norms. But what is the actual number? That has never been, brought to light. How many people have really dropped from the engineering institutions in the last decade or the last? These things is very important because to sell our ideas to the country. Because whenever we place our, verdict, this first we have to tell that what is the problem and why we are taking it. This is number one, that the number should be in front of us right in the beginning. The second one is that have we made any sociological survey about the people who have dropped out, as a reason for dropping out. Most of the time, people, there are various reasons, and financial reasons is only one of them. But there are many other reasons, like, I've seen many people in IIT Kharagpur also. They feel that they are meant for something else, but their parents have by force put them into IIT, and so they are dejected and so they are upset. And that has led to a lot of dropouts and also lower scoring in their, in their subjects. So that's very important that if we have any such results of such studies, that has to be brought to fore on every occasion, stating the magnitude of the problem. The next one is that NEP 2020's dictum is very sacrosanct before us. They have told us, and we have to do it. But you see that NEP 2020 has not given us any time frame to do it, and it may not be absolutely bound on us to make 100% exit and 100% entry norms. Why I tell you this, that whenever we say that the people exit after 1 year, 2 years, basically we are encompassing the ITIs and the diploma colleges. Because ITIs, they study 2 years after class 12. Diploma, they study, say, 3 years after class 12, and the degree holders 4 years. So that means by one single stroke, we are actually coming in competition with the diploma colleges and the ITI colleges. Now these ITI, the certificate holders or the technicians, the mechanics and the technicians are at par. They will be churned out from the engineering colleges. So engineering colleges, apart from giving the degree giver, they also become the certificate giver and the diploma giver, and then in the job market come in direct competition with the ITIs and the diploma colleges. Now the point is that we do not know that how the job market, market will be, will be accepting it. Now, if we bring out something like, somebody comes out after 2 years and we have allowed the exit after 1 year. So 1 year will be competing with 2 years, and then 3 years. So are those 3 years, what are they studying? Now the job market will finally be deciding whether we are successful or not. If our exited students fare better than the diploma students, then the diploma colleges will be tuning into us. But if they are not accepted, then our experiments will not succeed. So similarly, because we have to remember one thing, that the certificate holders or the ITIs, they are basically skill driven, whereas diploma and the engineers, they are knowledge driven. And the skill and the knowledge are actually different paradigms, because the skilled people, they are told how to use their hands. In mechanical engineering, they will be taught that, okay, you do welding and etc. if the trade is welding. And so, and if it could be automobile also. So similarly, if they are exiting after 2 years, with what degree? It will be a mechanical engineering degree certificate. So but is mechanical engineering, can he compete with automobiles in the automobile sector? Probably, because automobile engineers will be certificate holders will be accepted. Can he compete in the welding sector? So these are the questions we have to ask. When we allow them to exit, their success in the job market will also dictate our success, that whether the experiment has succeeded. We don't want to fail. We don't want to be told after 5 years, what brainstorming did you do that your products are failing today? So we have to also consider the possibility that initially, in the first few years, we'll be allowing only the 3 years exit or the diploma exit and compete with the diploma. If we succeed, then we will be driving more skills, because there are many engineering colleges. There, the skilling or the laboratory, it's not a laboratory, it is the, where the weldings or the soldering for the electronics or doing any such things by the hand is there. So we have to develop that. So we have to actually come into direct competition in the job market. Now the 12 plus 2, 12 plus 3, and 12 plus 4, there will be 3 different kind of products in the job market. And then we have to see, so now from 12 plus 4, if we are producing 12 plus 2 and 12 plus 3, we will be in direct competition with the already existing products, and we have to see. And that's one of my biggest concern, that whether we will be succeeding or not. So so at every step, what I believe is that this experiment is very good, but we can go in steps. This is number one up to BTech. And then regarding this PhD, when you say that after 8 years he gets a PhD, as the PhD supervisors and all, I have got great reservation in fixing the time frame, because I have handled different kind of students. I have seen people after MTech, people get PhD after 2.5, 3 years. People also cannot complete within 8 years. They find it difficult. So PhD throughout the world is a different ball game altogether, where time frame is totally dependent on the supervisor's satisfaction that is worthy to get the PhD. And there, if we say that he will get PhD in 8 years, it might not be taken viewed, positively by the world body. The last point that I want to mention is that when we are doing this exercise, we have to also tell the public that whether there is a similar kind of systems anywhere in the world or not so far. If it is not, we have to tell it is not there. We are unique, first time in the world. That's also fine. But we have to mention, because our education system is not standalone. It is integrated with the whole world. Our products will be going elsewhere in the world, and they will be seeking employment, as well as their they will be going for further studies. So our education system, our all kinds of technologies is integrated with the whole of the world. So therefore, just like I said in the beginning, that the problem has to be stated. Similarly, the worldwide, the efforts are the worldwide, what is the scenario? That also we have to say whether or not it exists or it doesn't exist. So these are some of the points that I thought when this exercise, but I must congratulate Nitishji and the team who have done the great endeavor and involving a lot of spectrum of people throughout the country in the discussions. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Professor Kanchan Chaudhary. And you raised very valid and pertinent questions about the success of the implementation of this NEP. So we will definitely consider all these things later on. And now I invite Professor Pankaj Jaloti ji. So please join Pankaj Jaloti ji and share your views.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you, sir.
Then you said about 7-8 minutes?
8 to 10 minutes maybe, sir.
All right, sounds good. So thanks very much. So just first, let's just take the global scenario of knowledge. We are in the knowledge world, engineering and sciences and so on. Actually, today, people require more knowledge, more skills to be employable than was, let's say, 5 years ago, right? That's just ground truth. Companies, PG programs, they all require students or whoever the intake, to be much better prepared now, because the world is becoming more complex. Jobs are becoming more complex. So actually, today the scenario is that we need more education to be employable or to be desirable, this thing, than less. Okay, let's understand that. 5 years ago, if you just knew programming, you can possibly get a job. Today, you need to know, just taking from IT, you need, 10 years ago, anybody who knew programming would get a job. Today, you can't. You need to know a lot more before you can get a decent job. So let's understand the context, because the world knowledge is increasing, complexity is increasing, companies are demanding a lot more skills, not less. Okay, so when people have been saying, companies have been saying our graduates are not employable, they're complaining about lack of skills. By reducing any duration, it's clearly it's not going to get, they're not going to get more skills, they're going to get less. So first of all, therefore, I mean, there is a need for keeping that in perspective. Now, the second point, before I have 2 or 3 suggestions only, but this is the context. The second point of the context is this. I think the speaker just now mentioned the data wasn't shared, Professor Kanchan. If we look at, I've been involved with 3-4 institutes, people exiting before completing a degree are very, very few. I would imagine IIIT Allahabad would be similar. A few percent, maybe, is what my suspicion is. The fact that colleges where education is very poor, where people want to leave, that's a very different problem to work at. It's not a problem of, that people want to leave after 3 years because they want employability and so on and so forth, right? So in the institutions that I'm familiar with mostly, the problem of people wanting to leave early is actually not there. Most people come to a BTech program to earn a BTech. That's probably 95% plus. Most people who come to MTech programs and actually pay fairly substantial fees they don't want to exit with a PG diploma, they want an MTech. And similarly, though in PhD there are more people, you would see globally, more people sort of leave, not without completing, but even there, the completion rates in India are usually very, very high because people who enter want to. So my main point is that for the kinds of institutions, at least the ones that I'm more familiar with, both at the BTech, MTech, and PhD level, the main use case, the dominant use case remains that a student comes and wants a BTech and exit with the best BTech that he or she can. Exit with the best MTech that he or she can and exit with the best PhD. That's the main use case, 90% plus for BTech. I would imagine almost 100% for MTech, maybe somewhat lower for PhD. Okay. Now, if that is the dominant use case, which as I said, I know is the case for most good institutions, the first paradigm, first principle to remember when we are designing any curriculum is that the program for the dominant use case ought not to get diluted in any way. If a series of courses will get me the best BTech, will allow us to prepare the best BTech, changing it so we can do some of these special cases and not be optimal for this is clearly, you can do the weighted sum and you'll find it suboptimal. Now, if along the way somebody can leave, hey, look, then it's a no-brainer. You design it for a dominant use case and somebody leaves in between. So that's a no-brainer. So my first point is this. Design whatever you want to. But the dominant use case, please do not shortchange them. People come to IIIT Delhi, Allahabad, IIT to get a BTech. And that, or MTech or PhD. And that should remain, and our focus should remain to make sure that the dominant use case for students, they get the best BTech, the best MTech, the best this thing. Okay. Now, second case. But still, NEP has said something, right? But by the way, just because NEP says so, it doesn't make it that everybody has to do it that way. Some places may need it where people are leaving very quickly, very soon, and they don't like it. Maybe they need it. But still, flexibility, on the other hand, is a desired thing. Globally, without NEP, with NEP, flexibility is a desired thing. But flexibility without compromising the main use case. Main use case should not be compromised. Now, this flexibility of multiple entry, multiple exits, without compromising the dominant use case in the program design, can actually very easily be achieved through fairly standard mechanisms. Okay, so for example, of course, as Rajat mentioned upfront, you need a credit system. You cannot have any flexibility without a credit system. But then credit system is now pretty much spread all over, and there is national this thing recommendation for it also. So credit system is needed, first of all. And then now we have to talk about flexible entry and flexible exit. What we need for flexible entry is some flexible credit transfer mechanism, credit counting mechanism. Should you want to take somebody in the after at some point other than the very strong entry point, find some way to count the credits and give that credit to the person to join. Okay, while the program remains dominant program. So flexible, once you have a credit system, the second thing needed is a flexible credit transfer mechanism. So you can transfer. So if the person has done something somewhere else and wants to move from institution X to institution Y, and when it comes to institution Y looks at all the credits of X and does something and does a transfer. So to get the person in. On the other side, flexible exit may mean entry into some other place, or maybe exit for a break, for example, or whatever. Flexible exit really simply requires a good mechanism to carry forward credits that have not been counted for a degree. We don't do a good job of that in general. If the person leaves, he just goes with some transcript and that. But we can formalize it much better that these are the credits the person has done, completed with these grades, but has not been counted towards any degree, which allows those credits to be counted towards some other degree, far more easy. So flexibility is a good thing for those non-dominant minor use cases, but we have to respect that. After all, some students want it. For those cases, we need to provide flexibility, and we can do it a lot by making sure that the credit system is there, credit transfer mechanism is good, and that the student can carry credits wherever. Okay, so these are the two things, as I said. Please never never dilute the main use case for your institution. You have to see, in your institution, whatever your institution is, if lots of people want to leave, then you'll have to think of that as the dominant use case. The ones that I know of, people don't want to leave; they actually want to complete. Okay, and the last point, it's okay to, in the spirit of flexibility, it is fine to add multiple degrees. You have an MS, MTech, PG, diploma, just have degrees, independent degrees with their independent requirements, and then use the credits and all that, so person can leave with person can earn something, etc., right? I mean, that's fine to be able to leave with a. I don't see too many real good opportunities here. As I said, most people will come to MTech not to get a PG diploma, but to actually get a MTech or have the ability to take the credits as well. So these are the 3 points I want to just mention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Jaloti. You shared your thoughts on one should design a curriculum so that a student who aspires to get the best degree should get it. And there should be proper credit transfer mechanism, as we also agree with this. And this is also a part of, I think, NEP also. Now, next, I invite Professor Arvind Chaube, Director IIIT Bhagalpur.
Hello.
Hello, Professor Arvind Chaube.
Advise okay?
Yes, you are audible, sir. You can also switch on your camera, video.
Okay, fine. Exit, entry and exit policy in the engineering cannot be make the rule for the. I think in my 35 years of academic period, I have not seen any student those who are admitted to the JEE in the
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, but I think your voice is breaking. I think at least I'm not able to hear properly.
I think
Yes,
he's
sir.
on road. He's on road, probably locked on from his mobile phone, so signal might be a problem.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, Chaube sir,
Hello.
you can switch off your video.
Yes. Yes.
Hello.
Chaube sir,
Yeah.
sir, you can switch off your video, and then you can share your views.
Actually, I'm in the journey. Actually, in the traveling. So, I will see where it is the net is okay. Perhaps can you start, Dr. Ji? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, now it is okay.
Yeah, it's fine,
Lot
sir.
better. It's better. Sir.
Okay, so in the technical institution, actually it is, I think, very few, because if anyone lived in the first year, so nobody is the certificate, given the certificate for the branch is the electronics communication engineering and the IT. So they make the syllabus in first year. So it is not common to all. It is the something specific first semester courses. Actually, in the first semester, irrespective of the branch, that is the mechanical, civil, electrical, electronics, everywhere the syllabus is the same. Everywhere syllabus is the same. So how a person's admitted. Hello, audio is okay?
Yes, sir. It is okay.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's fine.
Audio is okay, sir?
It's fine, sir. It's fine. You can continue.
Oh, okay. So
you please continue,
in
sir.
in the first year, the syllabus is everywhere. It is the common. So any people admitted in the civil branch, mechanical branch, electronics branch, the first year syllabus is okay. So question is,
We can't hear him.
Trivedi sir.
Yes, I am not also able to listen anything now.
Yeah,
So
can we
just, Dr. Sunil, can you just talk to him? And if it's
okay, sir.
convenient for him to join after half an hour or so.
Okay, fine, sir. Fine.
So
you can
in the meantime,
continue with
I
the
will
next panelist, sir.
Yeah. So I invite Professor Intu Banerjee from IT Kharagpur. Professor Banerjee is from Kharagpur, IT Kharagpur.
Sir, she's not here.
Okay, then in that case, I invite Professor Anupam Shukla, Director IIIT Pune.
My voice is
Professor-
audible?
Yes, audible.
So good afternoon, everybody. So I heard the inputs given by Dr. Rajat Muna, Dr. Avasthi, Dr. Kanchan Chaudhary, Dr. Pankaj Jalota, and Dr. Chaube, and they are very relevant, and they tell us another aspect of the concept. Since multiple entry, multiple exit, this complete scheme has been done by a committee, and I'm part of that. And we have several meetings in last 5-6 months, and then we come out with this structure, which is also a tentative structure, which needs to be structured in a proper way. So we are working on it, and I will say a few things which are seeing the other aspects of the scheme and syllabus. As we know that when we implement this scheme, it should be for the betterment of the students, betterment in the sense they get good knowledge, as well as they become eligible for the placement also, because in IIITs which are in public-private partnership, the placement is very key element for the students for admission. So student undergo the skilling pipeline. Graduates are expected to exhibit the graduate attributes as defined for program accreditation. So, but there are a few bugs in the higher education system which we should take care while implementing the scheme and syllabus. That admission are not meritorious. First year adjustment is challenging due to switch of regional language to English. So there is a provision in the new education policy that the teaching should be done in their own mother tongue in the regional languages. So secondly, that is lack of basic sciences concept, lack of peer learning, lack of self-evaluation, lack of practical skills, lack of ability to apply knowledge to solve real life problems, weak skills in problem finding, problem solving and innovation, lack of cross-cultural communication and cross-business functional skills, lack of knowledge of related industry standards, lack of interactive teaching, lack of research-focused student projects, rare scope of incubators, lack of interdisciplinary courses, disconnect with the society. So it would be good to visit some good medical science institutes to witness the interdisciplinary case treatments and weekly all discipline seminars. There should be 80% to 20% ratio, 80% technical subjects, 20% will be liberal arts, Indian heritage subjects. These subjects may have been awarded credits, maybe 1 or 2 credit. Online sessions may have interaction, simulated questions and explanation. Virtual labs may be successful for programming. Subject like electronics, computer hardware may require physical practice in lab. Peer interaction may be encouraged. Self-evaluation will inculcate feel of self-discipline and complete self for excellence. Student projects need to be either well-defined, research-based or industry-based. A course on few subjects which are out of box like biosciences, biodesign, which should be done under collaboration with other institutes, project management, account designing, thinking ideas, and maybe the core subjects of 1 or 2 credits. And at PG level, the thesis work should be consist of some complex problem that is sliced into sub problems. The research student closely interact with the fellow working on the sliced sub problems, and during the mid presentation, all of them need a active participation. Arrangement may be made for teaching and practicing Indian languages. In a semester, we may arrange the interaction with local farmers, small business entrepreneurs and workers, and encourage the interaction in natural local language. So these are few things which keep in mind while designing the scheme and syllabus. Rest the proper structuring of the credits which we have done, they are in the flexible mode. It will also be a better option that instead of fixing the time, they should fix the number of credits before giving any degree. So that's all. And if anything needed in the between, I will let you know about my ideas. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Professor Ram Shuklaji. Basically, you talked about this virtual lab and proper structuring of the curriculum is required. So that is this basically conference is a step in this direction only. So next I invite Professor Shekhar Verma from IIIT Allahabad to share his views. So Professor Shekhar Verma ji, or in okay. So I think director from IIIT Bhagalpur has joined. It seems.
Yep.
So sir.
Yeah.
Can you please continue your talk, sir?
Let Professor Chaube continue first.
Okay. Oh, I think there is some issue is there.
Sir, Ajo is okay?
Now you're audible, sir. You're audible. You please go ahead.
Okay. So, I thanks to Professor Nitish prepared the FAP document very nicely. But my some observations regarding the some India, that is the irrespective of the branches, like the civil, mechanical, electrical, electronics, everywhere the branches is common. So if any persons leave the institute after the first year, So question is, if the branch is the common to everywhere and the subjects that is the
Chaube sir, please turn off your video.
yeah, hello. Hello. Audio is okay, sir?
Yes, sir, you are, sir, you are
Yes, you
audible.
can
So
switch
if you
off
can
your
turn
video,
off
sir.
your,
Okay. So it is the question is, one question is, if paper is the common, then what should be the name of the certificate after the first year?
Sir, please switch off your video. That will save some bandwidth actually.
The
So,
electronics. So that is the one question.
yeah.
Second, that is the one observation. And the next observation is in the PhD, that is the duration is not fixed. It is the 8 hours. It is 8 years. It is the depend on the supervisors and the institute and the something. So it is the variable. I have implemented the triple IT Bhagalpur. The students, those who are joined in the dual degree course, suppose BTech and MTech. So generally now it is the that is the system that after the dual degree course, when they completed the dual degree course, then they given the award the certificate. If after the BTech they leave the institute, you cannot providing the certificate because they are the dual degree. So if you add in the this exit entry policy, that is the after the BTech, if the dual degree course and after BTech they want to leave the institute, so that is the exit can give the exit. So my one suggestion, if MTech and PhD otherwise their life is spoiled because any reason they cannot spare the BTech MTech that is the 5 years. So after the 4 years they want to do the job for the family problem. So there should be some exit policy. So that can be added. These are some my views, observations that can be maybe included in the exit entry policy. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Professor Chaubeji. Thanks for your views. Now I invite Professor Shikhar Verma from Triple IT Allahabad.
Thank you, Professor Trivedi. And let me start by where Professor Pankaj Jolote left off, and said that we have to care for the dominant use case. So let's look at a little different perspective and have a different dominant case. So the dominant case in our thing is that the student is not there in system and wants to exit with a perfect degree. But with students who later realize that they want a better degree and want to enter into the system. And let's have some examples. A perfect use case is the students going to IIMs for an executive MBA, or students coming to IIIT IITs for an MTech, or later on for a PhD. So that's the use case in India, which is more important than the use case which is there in students doing all well in their entire schooling age and then going through JEE to one of the premier institutions. So let's look at those students who are educated from some normal engineering institutions or otherwise, now want to have a switch in their career, or want to have a better career, or want to have a different career, and want to enter into the system. And they don't want to spend a lot of time into the system. They want to have a quick change or switch in career, or they want to have a better career. So what is the option that we present for them? So without disturbing the dominant case of very good students, which are more or less 10% in the system nowadays, let's look at those students or those people who have taken a degree or a diploma and wish to enter into the gates of an educational institution, and what we have on offer. So first thing, We want multiple entries to allow people who wake up late in life. So we have the students coming from class 12th and everybody who have observed and reiterated that people do not want to go out with a certificate or do not want to go out with a diploma. But nobody says that the engineering institutions are the only institutions that we are catering to. Multiple entry, multiple exit says that we must have multiple institutions. So when we are talking of multiple institutions, we are not talking of engineering colleges, we are not talking of universities. As Professor Nitish would agree with me that we must rope in ITIs and the diploma institutions, the polytechnics, and they must be a part of this because they are the skill imparting institutions. So number one, we must have the people from liberal arts, the institutions from liberal arts, science, the degree colleges, who can impart a broad-based education, who really are the institution who teach life skills to students, number one. Number two, for skills, we must have ITIs and polytechnics in our group. So once we have these, I think the skill imparting needs to be done from those, and those are the people, the teachers are there, there's a wherewithal, and these students, these institutions will be in a position to offer the skill set. And now what is the dominant case? These people go out and start working in their life. Somebody works in a factory, somebody works in a degree college, somebody works in a school, somebody works in different walks of life and wants to have a career switch. And we know that we provide certain avenues. For example, we have QIP Poly given by AICT. We have QIPs given by institutions. The army says that you can go and do your MTech. But then we do not have any structured thing. We have some rigid options thrown to these people. So what do? First, the main thing that NEP brought out, which was the academic bank of credits. So the academic bank of credits should not be a monolithic bank of credits, not a bank of it. Imagine it that it has notes of different designations. So there must be a mentor or a counselor or a software, whosoever, who says that, okay, you have these number of credits you have accumulated right from class 10th, and I will not say most, post 12th, because skilling in our country starts with class 10th. So you have done your diploma or you have done your certificate, you have done your class 10th, and then you approach a counselor who says that these are the credits you have done, these are the courses you have done, and using these courses, you can now catch this particular thread, and these are the options open to you. And if you look at different colleges in US, and we always look towards US, I do not know why, but importantly, we'll find that the day you enter into an undergrad, there is a counselor who says, okay, you have come from this particular background. Now you want to have a designer-made graduation for you. In our case, the student or person willing to pursue some type of course, certification, diploma, degree, higher degrees, once he approaches, then he is told that with these credits and the type of credits and the courses that you have done, this is the total accumulated credits. These are the threads that you can pursue later. If you do this and you do these courses, then you get this type of certificate, or you get a diploma, or you get a degree, or you get a degree with some research credits. You did an MTech, or you get MTech by research, or you get MTech with research credits. And these are the avenues in the outside life, not just the market, anywhere that you can really go to. Depending on your intellectual inclination, depending on your academic preparedness, depending on the societal needs, you can pursue one of the threads and exit and re-enter when and if required. So the life, now as we say in IT industry that we need reskilling, and not just reskilling, but continuous learning and continual reskilling is what is required. There is no gainsaying the fact that we should not have the rigidity of years. I think the designers of this particular document never thought of that, because academic bank of credits is something which is a given in NEP. So what they said was that of 1 year equivalent, if one works for an year, he should be able to accumulate so many credits. He cannot really hurry up those credits. So one is a minimum time that should be taken for those number of credits. If he takes more, fine. So it's the credits, and as I said, not just the credits, but what credits. Have you accumulated credits in skilling? Have you accumulated credits in liberal arts? Have you accumulated credits in some engineering subjects? What type of credits you have accumulated becomes very, very important. And who looks at it? Is a software tool or a counselor or an advisor or a mentor who charts your future with you. And then what should he ask? The few questions can be that you want a career switch, or you want to do better in the same organization. Look at a use case. People from our institutions, our graduates, BTech, MTech, who pass out and go to the industry, after a few years try to go to an executive MBA. The question asked is, do you want to go back to the same industry as a management person, or do you want to make a career switch? Many of our students do not go for a career switch. They go for a better position or a different role in the same organization. So it can be a career switch. It can be a better role in similar organization. So that is something that needs to be charted out by a career counselor. Or some targeted help must be given. Now this says that there must be prerequisite thread, and every credit, every diploma, every certificate, every degree must have some core, soft core and electives, which is already there in IIIT Allahabad, some credit courses, some audit courses, which must be done to earn a particular certificate, diploma, and this needs to be clearly defined. We must know if the student, of the prospective student who is coming, what he is equipped with and what he is capable of, what is his academic preparedness, what is his inclination. All these need to be taken into account, and hence, as was observed in the morning, we must have flexibility with rigidity. As we have in neural networks, we must have elasticity with plasticity. That's what, how much we can really bend, how much flexibility we can have, but there should be some spine there so that we know these are the things he can pursue, these are things he cannot pursue. And as I said, the counselor or the mentor must gauge the natural inclination and the academic preparedness to balance between the natural and the nurtured talents. So it's a mix of all. Number one, the dominant case is not the students who have started doing well on day one, have come from a family where academics is stressed or all-round development stressed, gets into and starts stopping from day one, goes into through JEE, say, to an engineering institution, passes out with flying colors with the perfect BTech degree and goes to a perfect MBA and so on. But for the late risers after BTech, after 2 years, he realizes BTech is not sufficient. He wants to go for a management degree or for an MS, or हिंदी में जिसको कहते हैं उसके ज्ञान चक्षु अगर खुल गए तो the world is his canvas. So what is the dominant case here is the Indian scenario, and multiple entry is important. Multiple exit is equally important, because I want to go in and take a quick reskilling course and come out with a credit. And that reskilling was required for me for a career switch, for a better career, for a different role, for starting my own business. All I can want, I realize that now that I'm 50 years of age, I'm enough of the rat race. I want to settle down and give back to the society, but I don't have a degree. I don't have a PhD degree. I don't have the required research inclination. So I go out, do a research, and then try to give back to the society. So I just add what Professor Pankaj Jalote said, what Ajit Chaturvedi said, and what Professor Rajat Muna said, is that rigidity, not in terms of years, that's a no-no. Dominant case is not the best students. Dominant case is there one more dominant case, which is the late risers. And one thing which is lacking in the Indian education system, as I've seen with my children, is the lack of the Indianness in the education system. How do we impart that? It's not that I'm wearing the old hat and saying that the Veds are the best, the Purans are the best, but one must look at the Indian society, the Indianness, and solving problems which are around us and not solving some research problems is something that needs to be incorporated. We must become aware of the problems, becoming aware of the problems which are all around us. How do we make them aware? I do not know. I don't have any solutions. But I find that children in my own IIIT family, the large IIIT family, are proud not to know their mother tongue. They are not proud to know Bhojpuri. They're very proud to say that I don't know Bhojpuri, I don't know my native language. So somehow we must try to make our children, make our students proud of our culture, proud of our very vibrant culture. And as I said, I don't have an answer for this. But yes, we must try to somehow incorporate this whole thing into the curriculum. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me time.
Thank you, Professor Shekhar Verma. And basically, he talked about the inclusion of different institutions in this particular thing, like even non-technical institutes. Career switch, he talked about career switch and talked about different degree options available. So it was very useful thoughts. Anyway, now I invite next Professor O.P. Vyas from IIIT Illahabad. So Professor Vyas, please come and share your views.
It's wonderful listening to various thoughts in the panel, but I would like to take the opportunity that trying to make a flexible academic program, this opportunity should also be exploited to create new academic programs rather than just trying to introduce the flexibility into the existing programs. We should be very careful about the future work skills which will be required. And we all are aware that gone are the days when we used to be more emphasizing on the memorization. And now that things are there with the internet omnipotent everywhere, you need more work skill, better work skill compared to the earlier ones. For example, the cognitive flexibilities, they are more important. Decision making and problem solving capabilities, they are more important, rather than to remember some facts which can easily be available. Also, the very beautiful point in this academic program is about the various credits. We have lecture credits, we have practice credits, and we have research credits. It's very important to create credit banks which a person carries everywhere and should very clearly decipher that how much research credits, how much practice credits, and how much lecture credits one has earned. And rather than, as I told you, just making the first year of the BTech program into a straightforward certificate and into diploma, we should try to make a self-complete program. Maybe if you award a certificate, it may not be simply having 2 semesters of the first year for 4 years, but it will be complete in its own. And this will be also possible when you can include the things like T model in the sense that you give an overview of so many different disciplines in the first initial years, and then allow the candidate to understand which line, which flexibility he wants to adopt into a particular specialization. And then he should be allowed to have a flexibility after knowing briefly about everything. And as you know, we are already very, very easily having availability of a lot of online material. So we simply cannot ignore the world-class material available already on internet. What are we adding into it? With the flexibility, we should definitely accept those available material, learning systems, and also try to make use of how to formally accept them into our systems. So my take will be, it's a wonderful initiative, but of course, a lot of work has to be done. And there's no problem in, again, revisiting the objectives of the flexibility and then trying to make a more workable model, which rather is more forward-looking rather than just trying to introduce flexibility into the system. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Professor Rupi Vyas. And basically, he talked about this devising new academic program along with the FAP with more emphasis on the skill set. And we should have another look at the title structure. And he talked about the T model also at the same time. Finally, I invite Professor Anupam Agrawal from Triple IT Allahabad. So please come over here, Professor Anupam Agrawal, and share your views.
Yes, thank you, Professor Aditya, for inviting me. In fact, it was good brainstorming today, and I congratulate Professor Nitish Purohit to take the lead in this. And in fact, I have my views I would like to share with you. Like other members told, at different exit points, we should be careful about the employability of the candidate, because if we just give some degree or certificate in between, and the thing is not, as per the market, or the person doesn't get proper job, probably there will be a lot of issues later on. So we should carefully think about, because as one of the speaker told about some institute like ITI, they give certificates and diplomas, and we also as an engineering institute also give degree and the certificate and diploma when somebody quits in between. Then naturally question of employability will become very, very important for them. So probably this thing is to be kept in mind. And this is another point was, while I was seeing the curriculum which we have written, probably we have to see international bodies like ACM, Association for Computing Machinery, and others, particularly for IT and CS courses. Some courses like on software point of view, like interaction design and how usability engineering kind of things, whatever things you design from software perspective, those important courses should be offered as a part of optional courses, or core courses can be rethink, and particularly these kind of suggestions from international bodies like ACM and other should be taken into consideration while finalizing this curriculum. Then this is another observation, as some speaker also told out, that imparting, providing PhD within stipulated time, 8 years, may not be true for each and every candidate, because some candidates finish PhD, other things in time, maybe 8 years. Some may want to spend some more time, so there should be some possibility for them to go, because they may take more time. Sometimes people take 3 years, sometimes some people take 4 years to basically meet the research requirements. Like currently we have 2 SCI publications requirements and other requirements. So it depends on the candidate. Some candidates may take less time, some more time. So little more flexibility, maybe that it is minimum requirement, what is that, 8 years, but some extra time may be given, particularly from PhD point of view kind of thing. Then as Professor Pankaj Jalote suggested, it is very right point, ki dominant cases, because we should first know how many exit cases are there in current scenario, and based on that probably we can take better decision that really how many, if most of the candidates or students would like to complete their degree in normally BTech, MTech, whatever. So this dominant use case, what was term he used, is very relevant. We should try to encourage that. We should the student earn their degree, and we have to see really from the data earned from last 10 years how many are actually leaving in between. Based on that, we can take a better decision for that how many people would like to really use this exit kind of thing. Then one just idea came in, like there is no limit on when a person can rejoin. So courses like IT and CS, where curriculum is changing after almost every 2 years kind of thing. If a person leaves today and want to join after 5 years, probably we have to see whether how much curriculum is changed over a period of time, and probably we need to take, whether he has to, suppose he wants to join in 5th semester, he has left after 4th semester. So really, whether he will be able to continue from 5th semester or his knowledge is up to date up to 4th semester as per current curriculum or not. So those issues may be looked into when we are planning for a long-term kind of solution, because particularly IT kind of courses, a lot of changes are coming each after 2 years, 3 years. So it cannot be static. So when we are offering re-entry, so such issues can be carefully looked into. Then I feel this kind of running successfully these type of flexible structure, we need a proper software, which I think Professor Nitish Purohit has mentioned, and it will be very important to keep track of academic credit banks of a student, so that the institutes which are involved in this consortium, they can offer a student for re-entry kind of thing at a stage. So one proper software will be, we have to make sure that it is exist when this program starts, as it is proposed that it should be started from July 2022. So probably that software should be very important. This will be very important. And as also there are different levels of institutes. So naturally, some students would like to make use of name of higher institutes, like who are more prominent. So there may be more actually requirements for those students to, because they will get more pressure from such students. They would like to go for those institutes which are more famous in that way, so or higher in ranking kind of thing. So some issues will be there. So those things, I think, related issue was pointed by our Honorable Director, sir. So probably those things, I feel they are very, very important. But it is a really very, very interesting step we have taken our IIIT, and we feel that with the help of all the experts who are today here, with their feedback, I think we can come out with a more working roadmap for such kind of flexible structure. So with this, I thank Professor Aditya for inviting me. Thank you very much.
Thank Professor Nupam, and basically he talked about the employability after early exit from the program, and basically thought about the flexibility in the time frame, particularly for the PhD program, and curriculum issues, particularly like in the IT, CS, and branches like EC, when a candidate wants to rejoin the program at some point, then how the curriculum change would going to be affect his further studies. So these are some issues he raised. So definitely we are here basically to discuss all these issues and come out with some solution that we can propose to Ministry of Education later on, and more thought-provoking process will go on in future also, I hope. So Dr. Sunil, is there any other speaker left? Because two speakers could not make it. One Dr. Pankaj, another Professor Rintu Banerjee.
Yes, sir. Sir,
You made contact with them? Yeah.
So they are unavailable actually, sir. So right now we have Professor Vimal from IIT Kanpur with us. So I invite Professor Vimal to share his view on the entry-exit scheme.
Thank you. It is really nice to be in IIIT Allahabad, very nice campus. Thank you for organizing this workshop and inviting me. So I'm going to talk about flexibility, but in slightly different manner. IIT Kanpur is also thinking about flexibility. So I take this opportunity to talk about what we are doing at IIT Kanpur. So of course, when we started, NEP was not out. IIT Kanpur does this decadal revision of all our programs. And so we have just ended the revision for this decade. It got delayed because of COVID, and Senate has approved the new proposal in principle. So what we are talking about is flexibility in curriculum, but in a different manner. What we have that, like a student, we had this feature earlier and we are extending it. A student who comes to IIT Kanpur, let us say to do electrical engineering, 4-year program, he can move to, after finishing 4 year, but he will have to declare his intent at the end of 3rd year, that he can do, let's say, for example, MS in chemistry. I'm just deliberately choosing odd combination because this is allowed. The student can do that. I had a student, I teach economics. I had a student who was admitted to BS 4-year economics program in IIT Kanpur, and he shifted to MTech computer science. So this is a kind of flexibility that we are providing. It's of a very different kind. What we are doing, we have in principle, we have decided to extend it to the students of other IITs and NITs and perhaps triple ITs also. That what we will do, we will open this master part, not only for IIT Kanpur student, but also from the institute of repute, the programs which we value, like INI can be a good example, but this has only in principle approval. As of now, departments have to get back to the institute with their own admission criteria, that how we are going to admit student in this master program. And perhaps these students will have to spend more time than just a year, like perhaps 1 year and 2 summers, because if they are shifting their branch from one discipline to other discipline, they need to do more courses. And students who would be shifting from, let's say, BTech in computer science to MTech in computer science, they will have just 1 year to complete it. So we are going to make it happen. At bachelor level also, we are bringing these new change. I don't know how would it pan out because all these things are in pipeline. Now, so through JEE, we give admission to, in computer science, in electrical, in, BSB, biological sciences and biological engineering and chemistry. But for example, we do not have a program in biochemistry. So now let's say the departments have been asked to float such programs. So it's very much possible that chemistry and biological sciences, these two departments can come together and float a program in biochemistry. So what can happen is that students from chemistry and biological sciences can declare their intent to move to this new program at end of 1 year or 2 year, depending on the, what these departments want. So this is another kind of flexibility we are offering. Another example I could give, because I'm working on it, and of course there are resistance and all, but there are some forward movement also. So MIT has this program on computer science, data science, and economics. So now we are planning to, the 3 departments, economic sciences and mathematics and statistics and computer science can come together and offer these another program. And it can be, depending, it's not like it would be open to only economics and statistics and computer sciences student. If these 3 departments agree, it can be made open to everyone in the institute. So the departments have been given flexibility. But as many previous speakers have said, that any new flexibility that you bring to the system, it always comes with a lot of resistance and practical, boundary issues, what sir was talking about in the morning. So we are in the process of sorting out these boundary issues. Okay, how successful we would be, only time could tell. But we are doing all these things. So the focus of flexibility that we have at IIT Kanpur, the focus is on multidisciplinarity. So if you look at the NEP 2020, there is a line said that no hard boundaries. Of course, it's very easy to say, but very, very difficult to achieve. But the aim here is that, to make things as open as possible. That's what we are trying. We have also opened that earlier, electrical engineering student can do project in only electrical engineering. Of course, if he wants to do, we had some provision. If he wanted to do in some other department, we had a lot of bureaucratic hurdle. A student could fulfill all the requirement, but all those things have been made smooth. Now it's very easy. A student doesn't need any special permission to do a project in other department. As long as people agree to give him or her a project, he or she can enroll in a project from other department. The idea is very simple, that someone is learning, let's say, electrical engineering, and he has some tools. Let's say he has learned some tools in communication, and he feels that it has big use in economics, the way market is changing. So we should not put a pressure on him or her that he has to do a project in electrical engineering. So this freedom has been given to the student. And also one realization that we have, that any flexibility that you come up with and any target student that you have, there would definitely be some misuse. You know, now we all have to decide this threshold. You cannot make it. If you try to make, if you say that misuse has to be 0, then there won't be any flexibility. The flexibility comes with little bit of misuse. Now the idea is to think that how much of misuse you could allow to the system so that system doesn't suffer as a whole, system survives. Okay, so all these things that we are having and we are working on in these direction. In other way, again, you can say it's a flexibility, but of different ways. Now we are allowing our MOOC courses. We are saying that, you know, all lectures would be recorded by default, but an instructor can opt out. So we debated a long time, you know, these two options, and we realized that, you know, one, that instructor is given an option to record the lecture, and second is that instructor is given an option to opt out. We have decided that instructors would be given an option to opt out, that he or she doesn't want to record the lecture. Okay, now we have also, IIT Kanpur has a concept of open elective. We have also open elective means the courses that you can do in any department, including your own department. So one can do OE in his or her own department. But now we have done this OE component has gone up to 20%. So students have a lot of freedom to do courses from other departments also. And I think this will bring this multidisciplinarity into focus, because we realize that research and development happens at the cutting edge, at the boundary. It's a turbulent zone. You have a lot of friction, lot of issues, but lot of gains also one can make on that boundary. So we are trying to regulate, we are trying to figure out how to harness that, whatever is on that boundary. Let us see how successful we would be. So thank you, Triple IIT Allahabad once again, and thank you, Professor Nidesh Purohit. This is a great work that you guys are doing, and it is a need of the hour that our country needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing such a wonderful information. Now I request Professor Aditya Trivedi, sir, moderator of this session, to share his views on this entry-exit program.
Yes. Yeah, so in this session, we were having 10 speakers, and 7 from other institute and 3 from IIIT Allahabad, except I think 4-6 joined online. So different people have different opinion about this implementation of this early exit, different kind of NEP scheme. For example, this entry exit norms offered specialization and curriculum. So I think this conference is a step in this direction to basically collect the views of all the persons, all of the people, and basically these views would be compiled and they will be further deliberated upon in near future. And after that, they will be sent to the ministry, I think, and then it can be taken as a pilot project. I think this is the line of action for future. So over to Dr. Sunil.
Thank you, sir. Now, finally, I invite Dr. Satish Kumar Singh to propose a vote of thanks.
So, a very good evening, all the dignitaries present over here. So, I take this privilege to present the vote of thanks on behalf of IIIT Allahabad. So, first of all, I am really very thankful. And I just want to highlight one thing, that in IIIT Allahabad, these kind of discussions started 5 years back when Professor Nagbhushanji joined this institution. Then he just vibrated with these concepts. Flexible academic program means some credit-based choice-based credit systems, and many new ideas. And then slowly the IIIT faculties groomed. And before the inclusion of this new education policy, many corrective measures and many appropriate measures has already been taken by IIIT Allahabad. So this was really a commendable, this is the idea of Professor P. Nagbhushan here. And IIIT introduced this thing. And at the outset, I just want to mention that after this inclusion of new education policy and other things, Professor Nitesh Purohitji germinated with this idea of flexible academic program, which is actually inspired by new education policy, and all the curriculum, basically, many things which are going on in IIIT Allahabad. So I'm really thankful to Professor Nagbhushan sir for enlightening us, for motivating all the faculty members. I'm really thankful to all the speakers, especially thankful to Professor Rajat Muna ji, the Director IIIT Bhilai. Professor Pankaj Jalote, very straight, he observed something and he advised. Professor Lalit Awasthi ji, the Director NIT Jalandhar. Professor Arvind Chaube ji, the Director Bhagalpur. Professor Kanchan Chaudhary, the nominated professor by Director IIT Kharagpur. Professor Anupam Shukla ji, the Director IIT Pune. Professor Shekhar Verma ji, IIIT Allahabad. Very openly he has given his opinion. And really this is, this is really motivating for all of us. Professor O.P. Vyas ji, very brilliantly he has, he has put his opinion, which is really very useful. Professor Anupam Agrawal ji, very keen observations. Thank you, sir. And I'm really very thankful to Professor Aditya Trivedi ji. Just, he moderated the session very well. And I'm really thankful to Professor Vimal ji for finding the time and sharing the practices which are happening at IIT Kanpur as well. It means the flexible academic programs are being introduced by many good institutions and the universities. But yes, some caution is required. At last, I'm thankful to all the people who are directly or indirectly involved for organizing this particular event. I'm thankful to Professor Nitesh Purohit ji for organizing this event. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.